Similar to then, I would say that my life, similar to then, I would say that my life right now looks completely different than how I thought it would. Like period, like April, the plans that I thought that I would have for April, like things that I thought would be happening this month, um, are happening. They just look completely different, and it tracks because I've like a lot of the messages that I've been getting from like readings and stuff. It's just that your manifestations are coming in, they're just going to look completely different than how you expect. Like they're not going to come in the way that you expect, and to surrender control. And that is not something that I am very good with. So, pretty much since the Libra full moon, I've been internally crashing the fuck out. Um, just purging a lot of shit, like a lot of what I thought life was supposed to be, what I like the expectations that I had of myself and just of life and everything. And it's been really hard because I think it's one thing to rewire your brain to think differently and to do differently, but then it's another thing to actually be different, like in practice, to have to go like, no, that's not, that's not what this is, or I'm not going back to these old coping mechanisms, or stuff like that. So doing that in practice is actually really hard. But I would also say that just I just had a very like brain fart. Like I just had a very like weird brain fart. It's actually really weird, like trying to be still. I'm a fidgeter. I'm a person who moves around and stuff and just and fidgets constantly. So being still for the camera is so weird, and recording myself is actually really weird. But I'm trying to like document my life or whatever. Not document my life, but I mean, yeah, document my life, but also just I don't know, get the fuck over myself, to be completely honest, because I think too deeply on way too many things. And that was completely not the point of this video, but I guess that's pretty metaphorical for literally like how life is going. Like things just go off into tangents, and there's a reason for it. There's a reason for everything that happens. And I'm learning that, and I'm learning to let go of my expectations, and like not hold on so tightly to them and think that things have to happen exactly the way that I planned for them to happen, because that's not life. That's not realistic. Life doesn't happen the way that you plan for it. Not all the time. Rarely, if ever, to be honest. And the other day I was like really upset about it because I'm like, okay, well, what am I doing with my life? What's going on here? Like, what is the point of all of this? And I just like wrote a hate letter. Like, just, it was like, I hate you, universe. I hate spirituality. I hate my spirit team. Like, I was like, fuck you guys, fuck the universe, like, fuck everything, right? Because I was just like crashing out internally because I have no control over what's happening right now, or at least I felt that I didn't have any control over what's happening right now. You always have way more control than you think, and if nothing else, you have control over how you respond to this, like the situations that are thrown at you. Um, but I just felt so powerless and everything, and it took me doing that like sort of hate letter for me to get to the bottom of it, which is that me, a person who's always sought control as a form of like safety, um, how much my life has changed in the last year. Everything now is just up for grabs. Like it's the unknown. I have no idea what the universe has in store for me, and that unknown didn't feel safe. And it just I always knew that. It's something I talk about in therapy, that I like to know. um I think there's a difference between knowing something and then actually taking the time to feel how that feels for you in your body. And I had to that's what was coming up for me. I didn't realize it at first, but that was what was coming up for me. This big unknown, this having control over my life, like being able to do whatever I want with my life at this point and not being beholden to grad school or like what other people thought of me and all those things. That has been the scariest thing ever, and it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel safe. And I had to sit with that for a while and just sort of tend to the part of me that always needed to have everything figured out. And as weird as it sounds, like when you're healing through trauma, you regress at times. And I think this past year of my life has been like a big, huge regression of not knowing what I'm doing, not knowing what is my next step or anything. I'm always a person who always knew that for not only myself but for others around me. I've always figured everything out. And I've just had this time to just not know, to just sort of stumble. And I fought against it for a very long time, but I don't know what's in store for me. I don't know what's coming towards me. But what I do know is that I'm handling it way better than I thought that I would, or really way better than I was, I would say, even 3 days ago. Um, so yeah, so it's always interesting to have that sort of realization. And I probably should have like had an actual introduction to this or something, but really these were ramblings that I guess needed to get out. So we're gonna leave that there.